Okay, here is a blank slate chart for Bitshares. I got rid of all of the prior markings. And I do this quite often because, yes, it makes a lot of work to relabel everything, but having an empty slate and not having to immediately see the prior labelings and having to do it all over again from the beginning allows a very important um, impact. And that is, more often than not, you get an aha moment. And it's very interesting. Those discoveries of aha moments don't always come through methodical and analytical observations, but it just comes from a inspirational type of moments. And those aha moments are extremely valuable. So let's start with a brand new clean slate. So what I'm now going to do is count some waves first. And I'm from the left. I'm going to make this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This makes clearly wave 5 a very, very extended wave 5. For all the new followers and new readers, welcome to my blog. I use Elliott wave analysis, and I combine that with chart pattern recognition, and together they combine to make a very powerful algorithm that identifies as many possibilities and rapidly narrows down to just a handful or a few of the probable price pathways. And amongst those probable pathways, I use either experience, environment, setting, but quite often experience, to select the primary and the secondary alternate counts. And what's important is that my primary could be very different from someone else's primary. That is where the experience comes in. Everyone has different lenses on how they see and perceive. And in my opinion, the most best experience one can get is failure. Failure teaches better than successes. Not as pleasant to go through failure as successes. And I have failed quite a bit as a technical analyst. From the beginning, it was just I had no mentor. I was trying to do it on my own with a book. But from every failure, I learned the best lesson possible, and that's the value that I can provide. The objective of my blog is to help and do no harm. From the onset, I've stated this as a motto of my blog. I wanted to be able to help as many possible out there to see if my analysis, my way of combining Elliott waves with chart pattern recognition can help as many people as possible, to help as many to augment their due diligence. So I also have posted tutorials, so I don't have to go through a tutorial session every video analysis. And the links to these tutorials are always posted in the bottom of every blog that I post. So I would encourage you to go to this site at the very bottom. I have the Elliott wave counting tutorial 1. Number 2. I'll be posting a third one later today. This is a very, very, very valuable tutorial, laddering, how to ladder in your entries. When are some good buy and sell setups using Elliott waves is another very valuable tutorial. I also have another real-time live, or at that time when the recording was real-time, live tutorial on EOS laddering. And then the same thing for using Fibonacci with Elliott waves. This could be very helpful. There are some books that I recommend: The Elliott Wave Principle and the Technical Analysis of Stock Trends. Link on this, it'll take you to the Amazon site. In full disclosure, I don't get anything, not a penny, for recommending these books. I don't want any of that. That's not why I am here. I am not here to penny pinch you people out of nickels and dimes. I am here to help and do no harm. Now here is the Twitter link. Follow me on Twitter. Every time I post a new blog post, I provide real-time updates on Twitter as well. So for the new followers and new readers, welcome. I encourage you to browse through these. Then go to my blogs and just go through maybe your past few days. It'll take you, I'd say, a few weeks to really be able to get initiated in the whole process of technical analysis using Elliott waves and chart pattern recognitions. Okay? So anyway, let's go back to here. I count 5 waves in Elliott waves. And for the new readers and followers, once you view and study the tutorial, you'll understand better what this means. Now, Elliott wave states that after 5 waves, there is a reactionary wave set up. In other words, there's a retracement. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Therefore, I can expect and project a retracement. But since wave 5 is extremely extended here, that usually means that the retracement will be very, very deep, and so it was very deep. This is about a 86%, 86.6% retrace, I'd say. And there's a way to label this correction as well. And let me label it here. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. So when I see 5 waves in the very first corrective wave down, that's got to be the wave A. And these 5 waves are subwaves to this higher degree wave A. And then I have here another set of waves. First thing I'm going to do here is draw some lines like that. Okay. And this is A, so somewhere here's B. Because a corrective wave is an ABC. And when I first count 5 waves in the A, then I know I know immediately that this is what you call a zigzag. And in the tutorial, you will find all the details on the zigzag correction as well. So I have 5, so this has to be 3. But look, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves here overlapping. Well, this is a combination. I'm getting if A combination C. So in other words, instead of a classical B with a 3 wave, I'm getting A, B, C, D, and E. Like that. So the A's here, B's there, and now C. So I have 5 triangle. C wave always has to have 5 in this case. So let's see if I can count 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so then I have C as being complete. Not a V. C. So I got 5 waves up. Now I have A, B, C as being complete. Now let's remove some of these subwaves and lines. So again, I have A, B, C. Now I'm going to draw some more lines. One line. Try again. My free hand was too shaky. And I had shown this before. This is called a rounding bottom. Price, and I had indicated this pattern a while back around maybe somewhere here. Price had been following it pretty well for now. Projection I made at that time was similar to this. Cup and handle. So the cup and handle. Okay. And we should see an impulse. Set of waves going up. Okay. So that's still the same. Now I'm going to get rid of these. And this is the aha moment that I got. So I'm thinking, all right, what else? Do I see a pattern here? So what I did was, all right, with further price developments, this bowl-looking roundish bottom is going pretty well. But I also noticed the following. I want to draw a line right across. So what I'm thinking is, could there be here's the left shoulder, here's the head, and here's the right shoulder. And this is something that I had not noticed before. This is the kind of aha moment that's so valuable at times. Okay. Now the minimum price one for this, I go to the very bottom, lowest point of the head, draw a line to the neckline, and juxtapose it right there. So we're looking at somewhere between 15 cents or so. But bear in mind that this will most likely exceed the minimum. I'd love to see the prices in this area, 20 something cents. Now let's add back the bowl. See if I can draw it again. Now the bowl would take about the same direction. Let's say I made this too long. So if Bitshares needs to decide on which direction it wants to take, and it could be both. Still do a dip and go back up and still be a cup and handle pattern. And if so, what needs to do, if he wants to take the head and shoulders pattern, the right shoulder has to complete. And from there it'll start rising impulse. If he doesn't want to do that, it just needs to follow the blue book road, if you will. The outline of the rounding bottom. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, because I think ultimately we should be somewhere in the, ideally I'd like to see it in the 10 plus cents. Which is here actually, I'm sorry. And the next ideal stage will be 20 cents plus. Okay, 0.21 for midterms. And for short term, I'll let you see that at somewhere in the range of here, say 11 cents. Bear in mind, if this right shoulder does get put in, we'll see sevens again. But what do you do when that happens? Now here you have the confluence of two chart patterns. Okay, with the Elliott waves, which is going to impulse up. Okay. When you have that level of probable confluence and confidence, if the head and shoulders bottom wants to complete, this is a good time to ladder back in, buy the dip. And once it confirms by breaching the neckline, you can see 11, then expect 11, and then impulsing up will provide 21. Now, This head and shoulders, right shoulder is not required. But if you do see a dip to the sevens, only the uninformed will be alarmed by that and sell out of panic. This is why the value of technical analysis in narrowing down the probabilities from as many possibilities is so important. Okay, that's how I would see it. And these 5 waves will be the subwaves of the higher degree wave 1 that I had shown earlier. So let's see how it goes.